Hello friends, welcome to my channel. So the question that we'll be solving today will be a question on dynamic programming, and you can see the question from the Geeks for Geeks website, which is maximum profit from the sales of wines. So I tried searching for this question on other online judges like LeetCode and all, but I was not able to find this. But I find this question very beautiful if you want to understand how to think in terms of dynamic programming or how to think recursively. And one of the things that I have struggled in the past a lot is how to choose the correct DP states, or which variable will actually contribute to the state of the DP when you are trying to cache the pre-computed results, right? So if you want to read the question in detail, you can go to Lead Geeks for Geeks website and try reading from here. But I'll just explain you what the question is asking. So we'll be given an input array. So this is our input array 2, 4, 6, 2, 5, and these are the price of wines that are kept in an array or any sequential container. Now you have to sell the wine and you have to make the maximum profit of it. Now the rules for selecting the wines that you are sell is you can only pick up wines which are either at the first or at the last, and you can sell only one wine in a year. So let's see how those rules apply to this particular input. So 2, 4, 6, 2, 5. So in the first year, you can either select 2 or you can select 5. So you have to make the profit. So in the first year, if you select the wine from the beginning, then your year will be 1 and it will be multiplied with the price of wine, that is 2, right? Or if you have selected it from the last, then your year will be 1. Sorry, this is 2. Year will be 1 only, but your price of wine will be 5, which we have picked from the last. Now for the second year, if you have made this choice, then for the second year, the remaining wines will be 4, 6, 2, and 5. And for this year, the remaining wines will be 2, 4, 6, 2. Now here we have selected the wines from the beginning. So I am writing it here as beginning. Let me use a different color here. Beginning. And here I have chosen the wine from the end, so it will be end. So now your year was 1. Now for the next year, your year will be 2. So you have to again make those two choices. Either you can select it from 1 or you can select it from end, right? So this is how the entire choice structure will go on, and at every year we need to make a choice that either we have to select the wine to sell from the beginning or from the end, and at last we have to return what is the maximum profit that we can make out of this, the choices that we have made. So the intuition that should come to you after reading the problem statement that it can be solved with dynamic programming is the that we have been presented with the choices. So whenever any choice comes or ways comes, or the question is asking you to find the number of ways, you have to maximize something depending on the way, or you have different choices, then the first thing that should come into your mind is recursion. Right. And once we have defined the recursive structure, the next thing that should come into your mind is if we are calculating same problem again and again, that is repeating subproblems. So if you have both of these conditions satisfied by your question, then it is a very good indicator that you can use dynamic programming here. So now let's see how we can uh, tackle both of these two things for this question. So let me just erase this quickly. So let's see. So our input was 24625. 24625, and let me write the indexes here. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So first thing we will try to come with the recursive structure. So if you think about it, that is very easy to see. So just see, if we have made a choice, we have two choices to make. Either we can select the first one or we can select the last one. Let's say I selected the first one. Then what will be the profit for that first one? Year will be my first year into the profit of the wine 2, and for the subsequent year my problem will be this. So if I know the maximum profit that can come out from this, then I can simply add the profit contribution from this. Similarly, if we have made the second choice, let's say I have made a choice of selling the wine from the last, then here the contribution will be first year into 5. So this will get added to if I know what is the maximum profit that I can generate from this particular sub problem. So you can see the question is recursive in nature. So if I found the answer for this particular sub problem and add this thing, it will give me the final answer. And if I find the answer for this recursive substructure and add my current choice, this will give me the final answer. And then at the end, if I just will compare both of the answer, and whichsoever is the maximum, that will be my answer. So what should be the skeleton of our recursive method would look like? So if we have 2, 4, 6, 2, 5, and my this is like start, and this is my end index, start index and end index. So let's say I'm writing my recursive method, and let the method will be f only for function. It will return me the integer, and what will it accept? It will accept a wines array, and then it will accept a start index, it will accept an end index, and it will state a year, right? So what should be the structure of this method? So we saw that we have two choices. Either we can sell the wine from the left start index, or we can sell it from the end index. So let's say we make a choice 1. So what is choice 1? We picked up the start index, and start index will be multiplied by year on every year, right? So we'll multiply year into wines at start. So this will be the contribution of my choice that I have made, plus it will be added to rest of the sub problem, and I'll delegate that responsibility to my recursion only. Key recursion, please go and calculate the answer for the remaining of the problem. So in this case, I have made a first, I have chosen the first start. So my start will increase, right? If I have chosen 2 here, then my new start will be 4, right? So that will be increased by 1. End will remain as it is, as we have not made that choice. And for the next year, my year will increase by 1. So this is my first choice. This is choice 1. Now what is choice 2? Choice 2 is I select the last wine. So year will be the same, and wine will be wines from end, plus I want my recursion to give me the answer of this remaining problem. So I'll call the recursive method again. I'll pass the wines array. I have not touched the start. The start will remain as it is. But since I have chosen end, my new end will be -1 index, that is 2 will be my new end. So end will decrease by 1, and year will anyways increase by 1 for the next year, right? So this is the answer for my second choice. Now if I have both my choice 1 and choice 2 with me, what will be my answer? My answer will be the maximum of choice 1 and choice 2, because we need the maximum profit, right? So this will be the my maximum answer, and I'll simply return this answer from my method. So this, and since it is a recursive method, so there should be one base condition that should terminate our recursion. So what should be that terminating method? When there is only one wine left with us, right? And when would that happen? Whenever start will reach the end. That is, if start is equal to end. Since we are increasing start from here to this side and decreasing end from this side, so ultimately they will come and coincide at certain point, right? And that is the point where we will be having only one wine left with us. We'll just return whatever the year is, and since start and end is same, so year into wines of, you can choose anything, start and or end. So this is the skeleton of the recursive method that we'll be writing, and this will actually give us the answer to this question. So we have seen that okay, this is following a recursive structure, and we have formed our pseudocode of our recursive method that yeah, this will give me the answer. Now we need to see if there is any recursive subproblem, right? So let's see. So to see the recursive subproblem, one of the very good method is to draw the recursion tree. So let's try drawing the recursion tree for this method. So we have 5 element, like the choice of start is 0 and choice of end is 4. So what will be the our initial root? We can either choose 0 to 4, right? This will be our initial root. Now what are the two choices that we can make? We can either choose the first, in that case my start will end increase, my end will remain same, or my start will remain same and my end will decrease by 1. Similarly, let's come down the recursion tree. Let's explore more choices. So if I make beginning, if I choose from initial, 1 will be incremented by 1, 4 will be same. And if I choose from end, 1 will be remaining same and this will increase by 3. Similarly here, 1 will increase by 3, 3 will be as it is. Here 0 comma, this will be decreasing by 1, that will be 2. Now let's explore further choices. I hope you must have seen that we are having repeating sub problem, but let's move one level down to address one more important observation that we can actually draw from this recursion tree. So if this is 3 comma 4, I have selected first, and this will be 2 comma 3, this will be 2 comma 3, and this will be 1 comma 2, right? This will be 2 comma 3, and this will be 1 comma 2, this will be 1 comma 2 and 0 comma 1. We can explain, we can go merge down the tree, but I think this much tree should be enough to address the question. So we can see that we have repeating sub problems here, 1 comma 3, 1 comma 3. So we can say that we can use dynamic programming here. Dynamic programming is nothing but just to cache the result of any computation. So once we have calculated the result of this state 1 comma 3, then we can simply use it from the cache next time we encounter that state down the recursion, right? And if you see in the next point, we also have this 2 comma 3, 2 comma 3 are repeating, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 3, these are repeating. So you can see here that we have repeating sub problems here. Now if you look at the tree properly, there is one more thing that you can notice from this is very particular to this question, that all repeating sub problems are at same level, right? You can see that 1 comma 3 and 1 comma 3 are both at the same level, and this will be very obvious because we have only two choices, right? Either we can choose the line from the starting or from the end, so it has to be on the same choices. The same state will always be on the same level of the tree. And what does every level of the tree signifies? That signifies the year. So this will be for the first year, this level will be for the second year, this level will be for the third year, and this level will be for the fourth year. So what you can conclude from this observation, that if my repeating sub problems are at the same year, then my year will have no effect on the DP state. Hence we will not be taking our year into a DP state, because we can anyways take, but then that will be a 3-dimensional DP and that will be a waste of space for us, and it is not contributing to the final answer, since all repeating sub problems are on the same state. So the my state of my DP will be enough to determine by start and end of the array. So for this question, we can actually take a 2-dimensional array DP with start and end, and then we can store the result there, right? So this is how this question will be worked by dynamic programming, and it will have a complexity of order of n square. Why? Because since if we were not using dynamic programming, then every state we have two choices. So at the last, it will be like 2 to the power n choices that we need to explore, right? But we can actually bring it down to polynomial time complexity using dynamic programming, as we will be avoiding all the repeating. We won't be calling this part of the tree, right? Since we have cached the result here. So this is how we can actually solve this question using DP. Now, the other thing that question asks is we also have to tell the sequence that what we have selected. Either we have selected beginning or we have selected end, right? So this sequence we have to also tell. So recording that sequence will also be not a problem, because every time you make a choice or so whatever choice you are making, that will be determined by the maximum of both the choices. So if we have determined maximum of choice 1 on choice, if choice 1 is greater than choice 2, then I will maintain another two-dimensional array, something called as choice, and at that start and end index we will simply put anything by beginning or end, depending on which of our choice we have made for the greater answer. So let's see the code now. So I did not find this question in any of the online judge on the internet. So what I have done is I have actually written on my code editor. So this is the uh, code for this question. So let's try to see what is happening. So my main method will give the input of the array, which is 24625, and let's see how this is happening here. So we have 24625, and then if you see, this is my profit method. So what I'm doing is I'm first taking out the length of the array, then I'm creating the DP array. So I have declared DP as global here, as I do not wanted to make the argument list very large, but it is usually not a good practice to have global arrays in, like, whenever you do your development in your projects or in any code bases, industrial code bases, right? But for this question, I have declared it as large, so that I have as global, so that I have access to it in different recursive calls. And then I'm initializing this array as an 5 by 5 array. Now this will be the positions, like starting index and ending index, right? So 1 comma 2 will have the DP state of starting index is 1, ending index is 2, right? And similarly, I have also created a choice array, because we also need to find out the we also need to return if we have chosen the line from the beginning or from the end. So that will be another 5 by 5 array. My drawing is not that good, please bear with me. Okay, so what we are doing is, once we have created this DP array, we have initialized this to -1. -1 indicates that the value for that particular state is not computed, so we have initialized it to -1, and then we are calling this profit to till method, which will actually give me the final output, what will be the maximum profit that I can have. So let's see, this is the recursive function that we wrote the skeleton earlier on the whiteboard. So this will accept the array, the start index, the end index, and the year. So what was our base case? Our base case was start is equal to end, then we're simply multiplying year with the wine set, start or end, anything would work since both are same. So this is our base case. Now, before computing any of the results, like before going to any starting computation of any sub problem, we'll check whether that is in our DP array or not. So if it is not equal to -1, that means it is present, and we'll simply return it from the DP array, so that we will not be doing unnecessary computations. If it is not present in the DP array, then what we are doing, we are exploring both the option. Option 1 is we take it from the start, and option 2 is we take it from the end. If we take it from the start, and then we'll have to call the recursion again with the start plus 1, and if we take it from the end, we'll have to call the recursion again with end minus 1, right? So after I have both the option 1 and option 2, I will simply see which of them is bigger. So I have written math.math of which of them is bigger, and I will simply set it in the place of dp start and end. Since I have computed this start and end state, so I will, let's say I'm at the start is 2 and end is 3. So after computing this at 2 comma 3, which was earlier -1, I'll set to some value, let's say x for now, and then I have this method, and then I'll simply return it, right? So this should take care of the giving me the maximum profit that I can make from the different choices I have. Now, why this second array is there? So this second array will simply tell which option have we chosen. Have we sold the wine from the start, or have we selected the wine at the end? So simply what I'm saying, so whichsoever is option is greater, that I will select at 0. So 0 will indicate that I have selected it from the beginning, and end 1 will indicate I have selected it from the end. So if option 1 is greater than or equal to option 2, that means option 1 was I have selected it from the start, right? So I will set it to 0, that is from the beginning, else I will set it to end. And now once my whole recursion is over, once my whole recursion, uh, sorry for that. Yeah, so that will simply tell if my recursion is over, then I will have to now print the beginning and the end also, right? So simply I have declared two variables here, I and j, and yeah, I and j, and then if I'm iterating as long as I is less than or equal to j. So if choice is 0, that means we have selected it from the beginning, so I have returned beginning. And if its choice is not 0, that means it will be 1, so I have printed out end. And then j I plus plus I have increased since I have chosen from 1, and j minus minus I have decreased, yes, I am chosen from end. So this will also print the sequence at which we have sold our wines. So let's try to run it and see how this works. So we have our option is 24625. So if I run this, then you can see I got the sequence beginning, end, end, beginning, beginning, and maximum profit of 64, which is the same that we got here. So thank you guys. That was all about this question. I hope you will try to solve it. And please, if you are new to this channel, please consider liking it and subscribing to it for more content for data structure and algorithm. Thank you. Have a nice day.